the next one.
Okay, so explain how physical factors can affect flood risk. So 34.7% of students answered correctly, which was generally a straightforward question. So
That should be pretty easy, shouldn't it, that one?
you'd think so, but they went down the physical barrier route, so dams and embankments, and rather than actual what the physical factors that cause flooding.
Mentioned human factors.
Yeah, so urbanisation.
Build and floodplains.
And it just didn't get them any mark at all. And then insufficient clarity as well. To get to level 2, they needed to refer to things like your hydrographs, so lag time, peak discharge, steep rising limb, in order to get to those top level 2 marks. So the best one spoke about interception from the trees,
Steep
and so
side
forth.
valleys.
Say again?
Steep side valleys.
Yeah. Heavy rainfall,
Okay.
all of those. The paper 1 done, move on to paper 2.
Let's pause on the thing. So there's a little pause on the left hand side.
Where's pause?
On in the middle of the screen.
I haven't got one. Where's pause? Where is pause? Now that's going to be on. Keep that in. Do not keep it in. Oh my God, yeah.
I really miss that.
No, it's not
It's
working.
not that.
Not working, just saying.
There you go. Pause.
Okay, paper 2 general comments from the report. This was the 6th year of examining this specification, but only the 3rd where it was the intended format and taken by a full core of students. Paper 2. So to be fair to our students, anyone that did well in this paper obviously has some kudos for that. The most salient lesson should be taught should be that questions such as 1.6, 2.3,
What does salient mean?
3.4, obvious, which requires students to show understanding AO2 and then apply this to AO3.
Hey, they're recording the screen.
Okay, simply repeating case study information is knowledge. One cannot gain credit in this style of question. Simply repeating words in the question is not application. Resources provided, students are expected to make use of it, particularly where the command is using figure and your own understanding. Schools and students should remember that 10% of the marks come from mathematical skills. So here we go on paper 2. You can see again above national average, better than last year, and this time around, females perform better than males in paper 2.
The fact that they scored, the average percentage was higher this year, does that mean our pupils were better, or does it mean that the exam paper was easier?
The exam paper was different, wasn't it? So whether or not they took into consideration the fact that there were changes made, and then they haven't gone full tilt this year. So I think next year might be more difficult. So I found some of the questions in paper 2 accessible. Okay, so the circle on the top represents above national average. So you guys can see from the grade here, we've got question 1.2. I won't do all the questions in paper 2, just some of them. You can see that most students knew how to calculate the mean as previous questions have demonstrated. Not reading the question carefully limited many to 1 mark, not rounding up to 1. Some were hampered by not having use of calculator. The small things we can fix quite easily. And this was this is the average score. This is the score for this actual question on the paper. Our students, 6 got 0, 47 got 1, and 60 even got 2 marks. Okay, let's just show you how that works, because that's going to appear again and again in the next few slides. Okay. Question 1.6, to what extent does urban growth create social opportunities? Obviously, give this picture with it. Just amongst yourselves, very quickly, what do you think they're looking for when they're asking this type of question on that resource?
Evidence from the photo.
Okay. Of what?
Do you mean about the social opportunities?
Yeah.
As in, what are the social opportunities?
What's happening in that picture that is creating social opportunities?
It looks like a street library to me, would be my guess.
Okay.
Is that right? Street education.
So they're setting up education on the street to teach students how to read and write. What does that lead to?
improvements in education,
Which leads to what?
better jobs.
Yeah, so that's generally where they were trying to get the marks from in that sense. Again, this question was not as last year, but obviously above national average, and the figure made sense to most students who identified education and used the figure in some way. There was some development and understanding, but few achieved level 3. Most gaining low level 2. Mixing economic with social opportunities was frequent occurrence. Social opportunities were also often simply seen as socialising. Very few students considered to what extent. So how much is this improving the social opportunities in that area? And in our paper for Wade Deacon, you can see that there's a mixed bag of results there across that question. We see a lot of these actually going through the paper, mixed scores. Question 1.9, we've got, again, above national average. Suggest how urban transport strategies can be used to reduce traffic congestion. This is obviously very accessible. Those who also use their own examples were able to extend their marks. Errors occurred when students wrote about climate change and air quality. And again, we scored middle ground here, mainly with 2 marks. And question 1.10, outline one way in which UK city of study is important in the UK. The issues here that there were largely generic answers that could have applied to any UK city. So, for example, Liverpool, showing that they've got many job opportunities. That's just a generic opportunity. So, if they talk about Liverpool's port, or they talk about the Albert Dock for attracting tourism, that would be a more specific answer, wouldn't it? And we generally got 1 mark for that. Question 111, this is the one with SPAG. Urban change in the UK has created more economic opportunities and social opportunities. So again, this is an evaluative question. And we got above national average here. And this question wasn't asked last year in the last year's paper. Students frequently confuse social opportunities with socialising. So going to the pub, going to restaurants, meals out with friends. They confuse that with social opportunities. Are we aware of social opportunities compared to socialising?
Did pupils understand what urban change meant?
There wasn't any feedback on that in the report. So something to find out, isn't it? The best answers addressed economic and social internal, and then clear conclusions as to what was greater. Was it economic or was it social? And obviously naming the city was important for them in their local context. For us, talking about Liverpool, thinking about, again, the Albert Docks, the port, compared to Liverpool One, which offers more social opportunities, and the cultural mix in the city as well. And our questions really vary in this one. As you can see, from no marks all the way through to some at 9 marks. SPAG, missed out on SPAG in a few of those questions, maybe. Something to be aware of too. Again, with our map question, we were not full marks for the marks in this one, because the last one, 2.2, it asked you to give examples from the map of evidence showing why the grid site was good for a location for the science park. Students tended to name anything they saw on the map without any consideration to why this would be good for a science park. So they might talk about a train line, which would be specific, but it's not on the map. They might talk about, so I think of the ones it gave that weren't accurate. Things like a shopping centre wouldn't apply to why it's good. So things like houses would have been good because you've got a workforce to go to work. Yes, being more specific about why it's important to the science park. And we scored a mixed bag again, 1s and 2s on that one. So question 2.3, to what extent are modern industrial development environmentally sustainable? Again, this is a to what extent question, which we scored above average for. However, they were just repeating information from the pictures rather than using their own knowledge. Those who did access level 3 generally did so by properly examining the photograph and considering the carbon footprints of construction and employee transportation. To talk about the fact that the company put on buses for a park and ride system to get them to and from work. Think about electric car points when they pull up to work, and encouraging people to cycle to work as well. Another mixed bag. We got highs of 4 in this one. Only 2 students got 6 marks. That question. 2.5, one disadvantage of using birth rates as a measure of development. When I marked this exam paper in the summer, it was really poorly answered, and that reflects in our answers, doesn't it? Here. So the best answers gave reasons for the inaccuracy of the measure. However, these were rare, as few stated a disadvantage about birth rates. Instead, they were saying what they were not. So what examples can you think of one disadvantage of using birth rates as a measure of development?
Not accurate in like rural areas.
Yeah, the inaccuracy is really important. The recording of the births is one of the main ones. Okay, again, we scored 74 students got 0 for that one. 2.8, calculate the interquartile range. Again, low scores for this one, but above national average. Students either knew how to calculate the interquartile range or didn't. That was the majority of students didn't know how to do it. Okay, so obviously we got to link in with our maths team for that. Make sure we got the same structure of teaching interquartile ranges as they do, because I know for some of our teaching, we teach some graphical information, mathematical information differently to maths. So we need to tie in with them. As you can see from the results, 80 students got 0. It's a big amount, isn't it? Okay, suggest how economic development can bring improvements to the quality of life, but at a cost to the environment. Again, above national average. The best answers used Nigeria and had a good place, specific detail linking to Shell, and were able to apply their knowledge to the question. Weaker students were able to gain marks through generic answering, linking environmental issues to economic development. So thinking about Shell Oil bringing job opportunities to the local area. However, environmentally, with the oil spills, creating environmental issues too. So that kind of balance throughout would have been good, because they had a name case study and the balanced argument. So we did all right on this one, but really a mixed bag, wasn't there? So 4 marks being the most. Again, that's probably in your level 2s. Few students gaining level 3 in that question. Next 6 marker, 3.4. Trying to reduce carbon footprint of food in the UK creates opportunities and challenges. Use figure 11A and figure 11B to explain this. So some of the things in this paper for this question wanted to say we have a range of foods from a range of different countries, which obviously adds to our carbon footprint. The opportunities are for us to grow more locally sustainable products that we can use in our diet, so that the carbon footprint is reduced. So the question continued to the observation on this. As the previous exams, the students struggle to effectively respond to questions demanding the interpretation and the use of a resource. A significant number misunderstood the question and answered about trying to reduce carbon dioxide and why that was an opportunity or a challenge. So trying to produce goods more locally and more sustainably was a good answer as well. Some good responses focus on the local production, as I said, as an opportunity, and out of season exotic foods for a challenge. And our scores were half marks, really. Again, level 2s rather than level 3s. Getting towards the end now for paper 2. Explain how limited infrastructure can affect water supply. Again, above national average for that question. Few scored well on this, as it didn't understand the term infrastructure. So those key words are really important in your lessons from an early age, from year 7 and 8 and 9, to get them used to understanding what these key words mean. So again, our student mixed bag, 39 scored 1, 24 got 0. 5.5, to what extent can desalination and other strategies increase water supply? Use figure 15A, 15B, and your own knowledge. Above national average, most lifted the figure information, limited development, better AO3 in evidence. However, the students explored the idea of cost and its impact on supply. Maybe you're understanding the word desalination as well, probably hampered some of our students. So you can see there, 5 got 0, but only 4 got 6 marks. Again, majority in the level 2.